JJ's got the keys to the blockchain breeze. He's live every day, decode the mazes. JJ's cryptic corner, where the coins keep turning. Log in now, the future's burning. JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner. Pixels glow, charts flow, crypto whispers, secrets show. He cracks the code on this winding road. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic. Tune in, lean back, grab your coffee, hit the track. JJ's live, don't be late. Cryptic wisdom, seal your fate. JJ's cryptic.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Happy Wednesday. How's everyone doing today? Guys, sound off in the chat. Hey, what's going on, guys? Bitcoin recovering slightly, $89,971.46. We got a beautiful wick right in the midst of all of this drama. President Donald Trump, the President of the United States of America, did a complete 180 and has changed his mind, seemingly changed his tune on using force with Greenland, the Greenland acquisition. Personally, saw this coming. You guys probably saw this coming. Everyone saw this coming. It's been a recurring theme. And Kobe Letter has been frequently publishing their tariff playbook that is play-by-play, basically what happens every single time. And it is textbook art of the deal. So nobody should be surprised, especially people who are in politics. They should know these things. But they still try to play hardball. They all do whiplash. They're like, what? And they react the way that they do, and then they end up looking silly. Bitcoin dominance, 59.68, still seemingly trending down. We'll see if we get a bounce there. Bitcoin looks good. Let's go refresh our liquidation heat map and see where we're at as far as liquidations go. Today was pretty eventful. Davos, he did say to pay attention to Davos, and the liquidation heat map might be broken. I think it's broken. I'm just going to assume that it's going to be like here, 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 and here. Because that's what it always is. Okay, we're assuming. Yep, we are going to assume that we know exactly what it is. Oh, hang on. And nothing's happening. Okay, we'll just forget about that. That's totally fine. Tom Selks Goat said, we got nothing this time, though. We ain't getting Greenland. He said that he had a good conversation. He got a good conversation. Never underestimate the power of a good conversation. Alright, let's get these out of here. We got no liquidation heat map. It's broken. Perhaps from the high traffic from all of retail returning. Joe Esventure said, look at your rekill bag. You can sell as well, to be honest. Let's take a look. What do we got for rekill? We've got... Whoa, my gosh. Whoa! 37% in the green. Let's go. That's pretty... Oh, I'm sorry. That's not... I was wrong. It's up $37. What in the world? 1,372%. That's awesome. Holy crap. I'm going to leave it, man. You kidding me? There's a playable game? I think it's probably going to go crazy. And if not, then it's free. Appreciate you. Thank you very much, JOS Venture. I did check it out. We might try to play it at the end of the stream today. ETH up 0.84% on the day. Well, let's go over Bitcoin first. We didn't really go over it. So we got our beautiful wick. We got our breakout dump, and we kind of found support at 88,736. The wick did go down to the green trend line, which let's see where that green trend line is. Oh, actually the green trend line is 1, 2, third point of confluence. Very nice. Yeah, that's awesome. Look at Ralph, please. We'll look at Ralph once I get through down to total 3 at least. Mr. Roberts said, "Hey boys, sup JJ? What's going on, Mr. Roberts? Happy Wednesday, my friend." I like that trend line being intact. Now, if this is gonna go the same way that things usually go, heading into the weekend, we might get another slightly downtrend scenario. Imagine $10 becomes 5K. Wouldn't that'd be crazy? That'd be insane. So yeah, that's just my estimate based on the way that we've seen things play out in the past. RSI looks great. We got a bullish cross over the moving average and are continuing to trend up. That pulse player said, "Sup JJ? What's going on, that pulse player?" And we got a green dot in the momentum wave also pointing to the upside. We are still pretty, we were very oversold down here on the 4-hour. So money flow is negative, but our momentum wave is pointing to the upside. Potential for further upside is definitely there. ETH is up 0.91% since the daily close. We're sitting at $3,009.39. We're back above 3K, which is huge. I mentioned yesterday how much I wanted to stay above 3,000. We broke below it for a brief moment, and we're back above it now. So Tony Stark can make us cry in the movie theater. If you know, you know. We've got a nice wick here as well. Beautiful wick, indicative of some serious buying pressure. Beautiful bounce also off that trend line, which also, just like Bitcoin, happens to coincide with this uptrend. I will say, the only thing that stinks about that, like, it's great that we're reacting to the upside off of that. I guess with ETH, you could make the argument that it's some kind of a symmetrical thing, but with Bitcoin, kind of seems bear flaggy, don't it? That's a bear flag if I've ever seen one. So we'll see what happens. ETH looks really good though. RSI climbing out of that oversold status. Bullish cross over the moving average. Money flow is negative, but we got a green dot on the momentum wave on market cipher, and we're slowly climbing out of oversold territory right there as well. Solana's up 0.56% on the day, currently trading at 130.27 cents. Nice wick here, looking very similar to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Back above our neckline, which is huge. I don't know what just happened there. Neckline is relevant to our beautiful inverse head and shoulder way back in August of 2024. Actually, wow, it's been 2 years. Whoa, I had no idea. So, in case you guys are not aware, we got inverse head and shoulder way back when. Breakout, resistance at our upper trend line. That rejected. Support at our neckline. That support held, and then we skyrocketed, broke above our upper trend line right here, and made a new all-time high, only to eventually break back in, and then out again, and we're in for the third time. So, let's see where this takes us. As of right now, we're looking really good. Potential setup for maybe a fugly inverse head and shoulder here. I don't know. Keep an eye on it for sure. RSI on the daily looks good. Let's actually check Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin daily RSI bounced nicely off of 40. ETH RSI also bounced nicely off of 40. Beautiful. We're very nicely set up here. I'm liking what I'm seeing. So 4-hour on Solana, 130.22 cents. Let's see if we get back above this upper trend line, or if we at least get back up there and, you know, trade sideways underneath it. Whatever we got to do. Volume looks really good. We climbed out of the oversold status in the RSI. Let's see. We broke bullish support continuation. That looks really good as well. Can we get to 50 there? Green dot on the momentum wave pointing to the upside. That was also oversold. We got negative money flow too, so keep an eye on that. But that's the only bearish thing in the indicators as we speak. Total 3 is up 0.49% on the day, currently trading at $8.50 at 55 cents. We got a little double bottom W situation right here, just like that. Beautiful wick, indicative of some serious buying pressure. We're above 850, which is a big psychological level. I would love to stay above that. We'll see what happens, obviously. As I pointed out earlier, I would not be surprised to see maybe tensions rise a little bit heading into Friday, Saturday, and then we go do one of these, and then Sunday, Monday, we just rip. Maybe we don't go lower. Maybe we just retrace that entire move and we go sideways, and then we rip on Monday, Sunday, Monday. Time will tell. I accidentally drew Donald Trump. Are you ready? This is the hair. It's a funky little hair. Here's his nose. This is his mouth. How do you do his lips? He's like, all the time. And then his eye would be right here. Yeah, do you see it? It's kind of creepy. I don't know. I swear I didn't take an edible today. I swear. Anyways, we have like two temporary points of confluence here with 845 and 857. And I'm assuming, yeah, 845 is this resistance right here. And 857 is this support. Yeah, there's more back here too. So those are, the reason why they're dotted is because there's not a ton of confluence with them, and they're very recent and vague. So it does seem like we got back above and then held 845 as support. So it is slowly becoming more relevant, which is cool. Mortifly said JJ needs to get out more, drawing Trump on charts. He's in my thumbnail too. Did you see him in my thumbnail? He's like, he looks like the, all I can think of is that the old, it's not the Morton Salt. It's the, it's like sunscreen. And it's the little girl, and there's like a dog like biting her bathing suit or something. That's all I can think of, but like Trump. And it's like NATO biting his ass. Okay, let's go take a look at, what is it, Ralph for JY's Adventure. Saeed said, hi, sir. What's going on, Saeed? Happy, I think it's Thursday for you. Happy Thursday. Ralph, bam, beautiful. Oh my gosh. Wow, that's awesome. Look at that. What did I say? Literally, what did I say yesterday? I said you were consolidating. You had a very nice range. You know the market's getting spicy when the fractal Farquad strikes on a meme coin. So you got a beautiful, beautiful. You had a rejection here and then a breakout, violent breakout to the upside. Volume increase. You're not overbought, which technically does give you bearish diff, so be careful with that. But, ooh, that's a beautiful, beautiful chart right there. Up 162% on the day. I really like the liquidity, how much liquidity they have. That's, I feel like that's rare. But be careful. You know, there's holders with a very large quantity. They could wipe out quite a bit. Yeah, if this is a person, yeah, see, this is someone that bought. And they're sitting there with, what? $1.1 million worth. And that's more than the liquidity pool. So do be careful, because there are people capable of one clipping this thing to zero. I sold most of my bag, but it keeps going. That's awesome. Hell yeah. As long as you make profits, man, that's the name of the game. That is the name of the game. But yeah, this is a beautiful chart. Absolutely. Congrats. Okay, ADA is up 0.6% on the day, currently trading at 36.82. Can we get back above 38? It's going to be a big deal. RSI got a bullish cross over the moving average. Look at this, bullish cross, support, continuation. That looks really good. We were oversold there for a moment. We have a confirmed green dot on Market Cipher at the Pico low right here. That was a beautiful buy signal. And we also have a nice wick right here, indicative of some serious buy pressure as well. Signs point to up. Besides the negative money flow is the only bad thing on this chart. Same with the rest of the other charts, but this one you got a confirmed green dot. Bitcoin, no confirm. ETH, no confirm. Sol, no confirm. ADA is the first one with a confirmed green dot. Interesting. On the 4 hour. SNEC is up 1.37% on the day, currently trading at 0.0008155. We got a beautiful bounce off of 0.007772, and hopefully we continue to the upside from there. I would love for that to have been the bottom. If it goes down further, I'm going to be really vocal about it. This tweezer bottom did not quite play out. We had tweezer bottom, which is serious buying pressure right here, followed by serious selling pressure right here, and then eventually toppled over with these incredibly indecisive candles. Very thin, almost no liquidity. That toppled over. We got buy pressure though. Buy pressure is coming back. Market seems to be a little more optimistic today with the Trump flip. So climbing out of oversold territory on the RSI. You were oversold. You got a bounce and continuation off that moving average, and a green dot under momentum wave point to the upside. Negative money flow. Positive momentum wave, slowly working its way back up. Midnight, down 0.96% on the day, having trouble getting above 64. Is it going to continue to struggle here? Looks like it might. We got, look at this, buy pressure, sell pressure, and now it's breaking down more. Needs to hold 5.4. Really, really last-ditch effort at 5, but by that point it will have dumped so much that it's going to be unappealing to me, at least. I don't like it when things return to their launch price, but I'm a piggy guy and I miss moves because of that. So you got a bearish cross over the moving average and the RSI, pointed to the downside, red dot on the momentum wave, also pointed to the downside, negative money flow. Not looking good as far as indicators are concerned, but this is a consolidation technically, so it could at any moment break above 64, 65 and blast to the upside. Time will tell. XRP is up 0.35% on the day, currently trading at 195.45. Tried to get above 2, didn't quite make it, but we really like the recovery. That wick, very nice green dot, confirmed green dot on Market Cipher at the Pico low here as well. Same spot as ADA, so people are scooping her up. You got a bullish cross over the moving average and the RSI, continuation to the upside, struggling to get back above 50 on the RSI. Momentum wave also with that confirmed green dot and the green dot of the momentum wave, point to the upside, about to cross into bullish territory over here. So a break above $2, something to watch for sure. H bar up 1.21% on the day, currently trading at 11.064. Can it get back above 11.5? We got a potential here for an eventual fugly inverse head and shoulder. Target wouldn't be that great. Maybe it would get above 11.5 though. So we'll see if that plays out on a smaller time frame. RSI struggling to get above struggling to get above 50. So we'll keep an eye on that. Green dot on the momentum wave, point to the upside on Market Cipher. We'll also see if that crosses. Mr. Barber said, Waters. Hey, good sir. Sweet. Gourmet said, what's up, all? What's going on? Gourmet Brands Brooklyn. Appreciate you. Drummer said, don't forget to like and subscribe, everyone. All right. SWE. So SWE might have been our leading indicator here. We have a fractal. And again, you know, the fractals aren't gospel, but they don't call me the Fractal Farquad for nothing. It's Kwame. What's going on? Cheers. Happy Wednesday, my friend. We got a beautiful fractal here, and this fractal is quite simple. It's literally just this move right here, reapplied to where we're at. So we want to see if, on a larger scale, this dip in the fractal and that 3 hits to the downside is going to play out right here and give us upside at the beginning of February. That would be very interesting, and if that was the case, then I will go out on a limb and say that SWE technically led the market in this dump, even though it's more than likely news driven. But if it matches the fractal, then that's what we're going to say. We got a bullish cross over the moving average on the RSI, working our way up towards 50. We passed 40 very nicely, very nice and neat. Held support at that moving average. Red dot on the momentum wave. First we had a green dot, climbed out, red dot, and then a green dot again. Continuing to point to the upside. Money flow is still negative, but we're about to get a bullish cross over the center point of Market Cipher and continue to the upside. So bullish is returning to the indicators, we'll say. Fractal looks really good. Next point of confluence is 154. We're above 150 though. Nice psychological level, so we'll keep an eye on that. Ondo's up 1.32%. Big news for Ondo today. I believe they tokenized like a very large quantity of stocks or something like that. We'll go over that in the news segment, but nice buying pressure indicated with that wick right there. Volume could be better. It is specific to Bybit though. We got a nice bullish cross over the moving average and the RSI. First we rejected and then we broke, retest, confirmed support, continued to the upside. So that's what you want to look for. If you're one of those people that likes to wait for support, this is where you wait. You wait for that break, support, continuation. More than likely on the RSI, when that happens, you're probably going to push up on the price. And look at that. You got your break, your support right here, and then you instantly went up from there. Very nice. Not a big move, but you know, it's up to you how you trade. Green dot in the momentum wave, point to the upside, also still climbing, and money flow is negative. That's the only negative thing on the Ondo chart. Aerodrome up 0.94%. Aero kind of struggling here at 48.56. We got that nice wick, just like everything else. Can we get back above 50? That's a nice big psychological level to keep an eye out for. So something to take into consideration. Green dot in the momentum wave all the way back in Monday. That's still in play, about to cross bullish, and our moving average looks good, heading towards 50. Avalanche up 0.64%. We are in our little accumulation zone in the fractal so far, and it's not a big fractal. We just pulled this fractal out. So this would actually be, I feel like, a great play. That's a nice accumulation, and that's entirely based on this right here. So it might not play out exactly like that. Notice, though, how volatile these moves are. We got whiplash right here, non-stop, and then we break down, we BART, break up, down, inverse BART, up, and then down, are we going to inverse bar again? It's the same pattern over and over again. We got wide, wide, wide. They're all just different scale. So I would not be surprised to see it play out the same exact way. I don't know if it's market maker. I don't know if it's psychology, human psychology. That's probably, honestly, that's probably what it really boils down to, is human psychology with a lot of these. But who knows? Maybe it's just a pattern that we're pointing out. We got a bullish cross over the moving average and the RSI about to, or I guess it broke above 40. Look at that. 40 is literally right here. Bam. Broke above 40, held that as support. So we got break above the moving average, support, continuation, break above 40, support, continuation. Hopefully that's the way it plays out. We'll keep an eye on it and see what it does. Green dot on the momentum wave point to the upside, about to cross bullish as well. So let's see what happens. Can we break out of our accumulation zone and get back above 12.5? Chainlink is up 0.56% on the day. We briefly spent some time below 12.39, and the wick brought us back above it, and now we're trading in our range after rejecting at 12.68. We got support at 12.39. Can we handle range bound and then bust to the upside and get above 13.39 next here? That would be ideal. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see the same thing as this play out again, just like with Avalanche. So we'll see what happens. Are we maybe looking at the beginning of February for a continuation to the upside on most of our altcoins? Monad is up 1.39% on the day, breaking below this potentially inconsequential angled trend line. But we'll keep an eye on it. This one's definitely useless. Let's see. Support level technically at 18, 19. I don't know. This is kind of a mess. It's oversold though, so we'll see. Technically got bullish div right there. So there's a potential for a big move. We'll see what plays out. Bullish cross over the moving average and the RSI about to hit 50. And green dot of the momentum wave also pointed to the upside. Silver is down 1.95% after a sudden turn of events, a 180 from the President of the United States of America. Silver seemingly struggling to get above 96, broke below 94, and is now sitting at 91.38. Is this the beginning of a deeper downturn for silver, or is it just a breather before silver continues to the upside? We got a red dot back here, which literally meant nothing. Another red dot right here, which so far showing a little bit of a pullback. It's the first time we maybe seen a reaction out of silver for that. I do have a poll for you guys. Direct your attention to the chat as soon as I'm done typing it. With tariffs now gone, or I'm not even going to ask that question. Where does the money go next? All in Bitcoin and crypto, tech stocks, gold and silver, buy the dip, and last but not least, cash sidelines. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. I asked you guys, where does the money go next? You got all in Bitcoin and crypto, tech stocks, gold and silver, buy the dip, or cash sidelines, stablecoins. Cast your vote. Let the people know. So yeah, silver, again, just like before, we had some serious buying pressure. Look at all these beautiful wicks. That tells you right there, people are scooping this stuff up. It's not really there for long. My favorite so far for, like, as far as the physical market goes, I'll just go to eBay and I'll search for silver bars or silver coins, silver bullion, whatever you want to call it. And almost nothing pops up. Like there's mints that sell on eBay. Pinehurst has nothing outside of, like, you have to buy a minimum of like 5 or 10. And even then, the stock is very, very limited. And then there's other whole mints that aren't even selling on eBay anymore because they have no stock to list. It's crazy. So as far as physical silver is concerned, I feel like there's definitely room. But we are expecting some resistance. Obviously, we're going to slow grind up to 100 because there's a lot of money at play now. So it's just, the move can be just as big as before. It would just take a longer amount of time. Mr. Robertson, hey drummer, hey gourmet. Gourmet said, what's up, robbers? Rudy said, chopping God has no mercy. Tom Selleck Scott said, pull back in metals, but then higher. I agree. I concur. Let's go take a look at gold really quick. Gold also got hit pretty hard. And by pretty hard, I mean like less than 2%. 47.86, a true hedge against volatility, if you will. But a minus 9.7% candle, minus 0.9, minus 1% essentially candle on gold is about as impressive as a plus 1.5% candle. That's a lot of money leaving the gold market. You did get a bearish cross over the moving average on the RSI, point to the downside, but with that, eventually, if this just chops sideways from here and then goes up, that RSI has the potential to probably fully reset and give you plenty of room for upside. What's nice about gold and silver, because of how big their market is, when they do move, they move slow, so that RSI almost never becomes overbought or oversold, which means it can essentially pump or dump forever, which is crazy. Volume, I'm actually quite surprised at this no volume Monday. That's kind of weird. But volume's huge, increased exponentially. Our momentum wave is pointing to the downside. We do still have positive money flow though, so it looks pretty good, honestly. It really does. Even with this dump, look at the wicks. Non-stop wicks. Non-stop wicks. People are scooping it up. So silver, gold, very impressive. DXY getting a slight recovery here. We got wicks here as well, 98.79. We did seemingly reject like 99.5. So we'll see if we use this springboard to get above that and continue to the upside. Technically, I think the DXY pumping is bearish for at least crypto, because that means the dollar's going up. and people are less inclined to invest in risky assets, because why do they need to? We do have a green dot. I don't know if that's relevant, but I'm going to point it out. We got a bullish crossover the moving average and the RSI as well. MicroStrategy, aka Big B Coffee, up 2.23% on the day. First green day that they've had in quite some time. Pretty big fat dump. Now, on this gap right here, this gap dump yesterday, I believe Vanguard, for the first time ever, bought some MicroStrategy shares. So that's a big deal. They saw the value proposition. They scooped it up. I don't know if they know something we don't. Big B Coffee still at large. 164.25. Let's see if it can continue this momentum and get back above 167 and hopefully eventually 186. That seems to be the big struggle spot right now. We have not technically been above, besides this, with conviction I'll call it, we have not been above 186 since like November of 2025. So it's been a couple of months. NASDAQ up 0.02% on the day. We did actually talk about this. Tuesday open equals bad. Thursday, Friday, negotiations going bad. So we talked about Tuesday, Wednesday, negotiations going great. That's right now. Thursday, Friday, negotiations going bad, and then we'll eventually reach a deal and do really good. We'll see if this plays out. This is strictly based off of the Kobe SE Letters tariff playbook, so I take no credit for this concept. All I did was stamped a little timeline on it. We'll see what plays out. And it also oddly perfectly matches the fractal, which, we've scooted around a couple of times. We were talking about the possibility of this playing out, and that was not what happened. So right now, this is the original location of the fractal. We're going to just say that it's that right there and see what plays out, which essentially means early February, which is what all of the altcoin fractals are pointing towards. So we'll see what happens. RSI looks great, above 50. We'll see if we continue to the upside. NASDAQ, or S&P 500. 68.75 and 61 cents, up 1.16% on the day. Also getting a beautiful bounce. We got a fractal, and then we got what I think is going to play out, which again called for a dip and then a rip and then another dip and then a rip. So we'll see what happens. I would hope from this point forward that we'll stay above 68.65, but time will tell. Bitcoin dominance 59.67, and Bitcoin itself up 0.59% on the day, currently trading at 89,982 and 32 cents. Are we going to get back above 90K before tomorrow, within the next 3 hours or so? I don't know. News segment. We got a lot of news to cover today. A lot of news. So feel free to ask for charts and stuff. Talk about amongst yourselves in the chat, whatever. I did actually look into all the stock recommendations that you guys made last night, and I added them to my list on Robinhood. And I've started getting ads for stocks on X. One of them was NXXT. I'm not sure how to feel about it. I briefly looked into it, but it did catch my eye. They got like they got like AI ads running on X now, or maybe not ads, just like AI like propaganda campaigns. I guess technically it's just marketing, but still. Khalil posted Bitcoin nearly there. Don't get shaken out. He's calling for a potential dump all the way down to, looks like 84K-ish, and then a continuation to the upside. I don't hate this idea, but we'll see what plays out. Kwame said, was Davos a nothing burger? I don't think so. I think it'll end up being a nothing burger in the charts, but I do have news. The news just for some reason didn't spread. Let me get to it in here, and then we'll talk more in depth about it. But it was pretty eventful, what was said. We got a pretty hefty reaction in the charts, but no one talked about it. It's the weirdest thing. Like, even all the shills on X that are normally like, oh my gosh, this crazy news, they didn't say not a peep, even still. $150 billion wiped out from the crypto market cap today. That was yesterday, January 20th. President Trump signs executive order to restrict Wall Street investors from buying single-family homes. That's awesome. Gold at one point hit $4,850 an ounce. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong calls out French central bank governor's misunderstanding of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a decentralized protocol. It's more independent. I would like to point out this snobby asshole is literally the most pretentious. Look at him. Like, I'm 50% French, and I'm fully self-aware that they are pretentious assholes. Look at the way this dude's literally like, I don't trust the Bitcoin. We know you don't trust Bitcoin, bro. It's not because you don't trust Bitcoin. It's because Bitcoin is taking business away from you. It's silly to me, dude. Mr. Roberts said anomaly on REEMF today. It's one of rare earths I was tracking but don't own. On the 5-minute chart, the thing jumped 10x this afternoon for some reason. Damn. Okay, we'll look at that in a moment. President Trump says inflation has been defeated. If you actually look at trueflation, he's not wrong. He said USA is the economic engine of the world. When America booms, the entire world booms. I don't disagree with him on that either. Trump calls stock market dip peanuts and says the market will double. Hell yeah. President Trump says he hopes to sign crypto bill soon. Me too. President Trump says I'm also working to ensure America remains the crypto capital of the world. All right. Trump administration says banks will go all in on crypto after market structure legislation passes. I think they have no choice. Eric Trump, this one cracked me up. Eric Trump says banks are doing everything they can to block crypto legislation. Like, which one is it? Are they going all in, or are they going to block it? They need to coordinate this stuff more often. 150 million worth of crypto longs liquidated in the past 60 minutes. That was 7 hours ago. President Trump cancels. This is the big news. 5 hours ago. Haven't heard anybody talk about it. President Trump cancels EU tariffs after forming framework for a deal on Greenland. This is not a typo. This is not like, oops, we published misinformation. This is real. President Trump canceled the tariffs on the European Union after forming framework for a deal on Greenland. That's a big deal. That is a huge deal. Based upon a very productive meeting that I have had with the Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, we have formed the framework of a future deal with respect to Greenland and, in fact, the entire Arctic region. This solution, if consummated, will be a great one for the United States of America and all NATO nations. Based upon this understanding, I will not be imposing the tariffs that were scheduled to go into effect on February 1st. Additional discussions are being held concerning the Golden Dome as it pertains to Greenland. Further information will be made available as discussions progress. Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, and various others as needed will be responsible for the negotiations and they will report directly to me. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. So, huge W for crypto and stock market, just investments in general. Gold and silver were safe haven. They're still very much so safe haven. This does not undo all of the gold and silver pump. All this does is undoes the little bitty pump that came into place when Trump threatened tariffs on the European Union for Greenland. So again, textbook art of the deal. He comes out swinging. He comes out throwing accusations, cussing people out, punching them in the face, threatening to like punch and stab and shoot people, and everyone's like, whoa, 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 whoa. And then he's like, give me all your money. And everyone's like, okay, we'll give you the money. You don't have to be violent. And then he's like, all right. And then he just gets the money. From coming out swinging like that, everyone's caught off guard. They're like, whoa. They don't know how to react. And then he's like, this is what I want. And they're like, okay, we can work something out. We're not going to give you all of what you want, but we're going to give you like 90%. Happens every single time. Every single time. Like, it's crazy to me. Nobody wants to deal with a crazy person, and he comes out crazy, and they're like, whoa. They don't know how to react. And then he's like, I want this, this, and that. And they're like, okay, we'll give you 2 of those 3 things. And he's like, that's what I thought. I'm glad we could work something out. Pleasure doing business with you. It's crazy. Taco Man. Taco Man. It's Kwame said, so Greenland soon? No war? Right? Yeah, all those troops that got deployed, they're probably so pissed. They're like, I came here for nothing? Seriously? You should deploy, though. You know, I feel like it would have looked bad if they were like, he's not going to do anything, and we're also not going to send troops there at all. Rudy said all Trump wants are minerals, too. Exactly, and I'm pretty sure that that deal's included. Tom Salkscoat said, Taco Man. Gourmet Brand said, we are going to own a bunch of plots of it, and Greenland will be protected by the U.S. Tom Salkscoat said, no, Greenland, we will get nothing, just distracting you from the Epstein files. Ooh! Watch my stream get rugged now. Okay, Mr. Roberts wanted to take a look at REEMF, the mother effer. Let's go take a look at that really quick. REEMF, Rare Element Resources Ltd. He said, I was tracking but don't own on 5-minute chart. The thing jumped 10x this afternoon for some reason. On the 5-minute chart, 10x this afternoon for some reason. 10x. Yeah, that might have been a glitch. I don't see it. Maybe it's on a different chart. This is OTC. Nope. That's the only one that I have access to. Interesting. Yeah, it might have been a glitch. I got nothing. Could you imagine, actually... You know what drives me crazy? One of the biggest peeves that I have is these stories where they're like, a woman woke up and found $10 million deposited in her bank account and paid off her mortgage. And then the bank is just like, well, that's our money, so we're suing you until you pay us back. I don't think that's fair. If you... I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're the president of the United States. If you deposit money in my bank account, that is my money. I'm suing you, actually, for trying to take my money. And I don't care if you can prove that, oh, it was an accident, whatever. You know what I would do? I would cash that out, and I would disappear. I would disappear so fast. So if you guys never see me again one day, it's because the bank accidentally deposited millions of dollars into my account, and I am now going by the name Alfonso, and I live in Greenland. Gourmet Brand said we already have a military base there. And Mr. Roberts said maybe try 1 minute. It was there. My alert went off at $3.50. All right, let's go check it out. 1 minute time frame. Yeah, I got nothing. So no matter what time frame it was on, it would show up on all of them. Are you looking at TradingView, or are you on like some platform or something? It could be. I could make the argument that it's a liquidity thing depending on the platform, but who knows? All right, let's continue the news segment. It's Kwame said, if you drop money, it belongs to the floor, right? Exactly. Money in my bank account is my money. So if you fudged up and deposited it into my bank account, that's too damn bad, buddy. And if I see that, if I get a statement that says 1 million added and 1 million subtracted, oh, dude, I'm hiring a lawyer. All right, President Trump cancels EU. Yep, we read that. Very cool. 135 million worth of crypto shorts liquidated in the past 10 minutes. That was 5 hours ago. Get wrecked. Gold and silver dump after President Trump cancels EU tariffs and announces framework for Greenland deal. Let's go. Saeed said Trump's next move is towards an island in Indian Ocean. Interesting. Okay. 700 million? Nope, 700 billion added to the U.S. stock market today. Hell yeah. Rudy said, Mr. Alfonso, how can we trade those choppy markets? My go cry. I think patience. Rudy, here's actually brilliant advice. I'm gonna suggest to you. Do you have Amazon Prime? Go listen to the audiobook The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. And you probably only have to listen to the first like 5 or 6 chapters to get the point. This is a quote from Mr. J.L. Collins. Brilliant man. This is the secret to building generational wealth. Retiring with over $1 million. Obviously, you need a source of income. That is number one. Once you have a source of income, avoid debt, live on less than what you earn, and invest the surplus. So, example, let's say you make $1,000 a week. You need to make sure that you are spending less than $1,000 a week. John said, yo, JJ, I bought the dip, smash the like. Hell yeah, John, that's what I like to hear. So, and then you're like, well, I have rent is due every month and whatever. Then you got to sit down, you got to do the math. How much do you spend on groceries every week? How much do you spend on bills every week? And then add all that up for the month. What is your monthly expense? What is your monthly income? You make $4K a month? You should not be spending more than $4K a month. If you do, you got to cut some things out. You can't finance a new car and pay for full coverage. You're going to have to buy a used car. You can't get coffee every single day. That adds up, dude. You got to quit smoking cigarettes. You shouldn't go out drinking as much. And then just save your money, dude. Save your money. Spend less than what you earn. It sounds super simple, but you need to apply it in practice. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is just super simple advice. I accidentally applied this to my life when I started doing crypto. Gourmet Brand said I need to give that book to my wife. Oh, that's good. That's a good one. But yeah, it really is a great book. Tom Salkscott said the FBI has entered the conversation. Yeah, the island, the island in India. All right. Bitcoin 90,113 and 20 cents. Marty Party posted a Bitcoin Wyckoff institutional accumulation January 1st. Note, now with gamma release metrics and timing estimates, the motive is to create panic and scare you out before the Clarity Act passes and crypto becomes legal and mainstream. Subject to change, not financial advice. We'll see if January 30th we get a spring. I don't know. I am fully expecting another dump because we have yet to achieve a lower low. I personally believe that the lower low happens every single time before the move up, and we've seen it way too often. Here's a great example. Lower low, upside. Where else? Right here. Lower low, non-stop lower low, and then upside. Every single time. How many people sold? We hit 70K. We hit our previous all-time high. They're like, oh, 70K was the top. Bitcoin can't go higher. It's a lower low. Sell your bags. And then they missed out on $126,000 Bitcoin. And they look like idiots. Every single time we get a lower low. So if we move, I guess the best, if the market maker is real and they're trying to screw as many people over as possible, they would just go straight up, which I'm okay with. But from what we've seen from the pattern that repeats almost every single time, it is almost required that we achieve a lower low before we go higher. And that lower low could be as simple as 70, 80K. maybe not 70, 80K. But the overarching trend is still up, and that's the big thing. And that's actually in the book too. The book, the Simple Path to Wealth. If you just invest in the S&P 500, you invest in Vanguard's like entire stock market index, then you will make money. It's that simple. John said, I invest $1,000 a month into crypto. Very cool. You got a plan. That's brilliant. Having a plan is also a big deal. It's another big thing that people actually don't think about. Avoid lifestyle inflation. If you have a job and over the course of 5-10 years you make twice as much now, you should not be spending twice as much just because you make twice as much. I'm not saying don't upgrade. You can go from eating ramen noodles to like eating box macaroni or whatever. I'm joking a little bit there, but you're allowed to treat yourself, but you should not immediately be like, oh, I went from $2,000 a month to $4,000 a month, so now I have an extra $2,000 that I can spend on everything else except for investing. Tom Salkscoat said you can buy VOO and do nothing else, you will make money. We did the Grok math. Let me point out the Grok math again. The Grok math is great. I asked Grok here, what is the average annual return of the S&P 500? Grok did the math. It's actually higher. Long-term performance 10.02, last 30 years 10.4, since 1957 10.6, so we wanted 10.4. I said, okay, if I put $150 a week, which is $600 a month, into the S&P 500, how long would it take for me to accumulate $1 million? And Grok told me, did all the math, 26 years and 5 months. After 26 years and 5 months of me putting $150 out of each paycheck into the S&P 500, I would have $1 million based on the average return. And guess what? That average return includes the dot-com bubble. That average return includes the 2008 financial crisis. It's not hard. It's actually very easy and, frankly, quite boring. And I think that that's a big issue that people have. They're bored. It's really boring to just do the same thing every single week. Oh, $150, $150, $150. And then it becomes an expense, and then you're bored and whatever. Nobody wants to think about 26 years and 5 months from now. You want to think about tomorrow. And that's totally fine. But you got to diversify your thoughts as well. You can't just think nonstop about like, oh, I should spend all this money that I have. Saeed said, with leverage trade, our trade gets liquidated if we go for a swing trade, assuming it to go down. I don't know what you mean. With leverage trade. With leverage, our trade gets liquidated if we go for a swing trade, assuming it will go down. I don't know. Mr. Roberts said, hell yeah, and that's why we need to teach our kids to invest 100%. What's really cool is the dude literally wrote the book for his daughter when she was 19 years old. So I am now the 19-year-old daughter of J.L. Collins. Okay. A Golden Dome includes all of North America, Canada, Mexico, and now Greenland. If you live in there, you are safer. Keep it real. Stablecoin mint another 500 million USDC issued on Solana by the Treasury. Hedge funds. We got Kobayashi letter finally. Hedge funds are ramping up bearish bets on the Japanese yen. Leveraged funds raised net yen shorts by 35,624 contracts in the week ending January 13th, the largest weekly increase since May 2015. This marks the first jump into bearish positioning over the last 5 weeks. As a result, the net short positions jumped to minus 100,000 contracts, the most bearish since Q1 2024. I think that's minus. This comes as investors' expectations are growing that Prime Minister Takashi will win the snap election and will pursue more fiscal stimulus under widening Japanese deficits. Meanwhile, the yen is trading at 158 against the US dollar, near its lowest since July 2024. The currency is approaching 160, the threshold where the Japanese Ministry of Finance last intervened to defend it. Hedge funds are betting heavily against the yen. That's crazy. Rudy said, but I want Lambo. Well, once you have $1 million, you can, off the interest off of that, probably buy a Lambo. You would have to finance it, but the yield that you would accrue from that $1 million sitting in the S&P 500 would pay probably for the Lambo. Mr. Robert said, hell yeah, yep, we read that. Okay. White House announces new executive order stopping Wall Street from competing with Main Street homebuyers. Let's freaking go. I'm so pumped about this, dude. I'm hoping it makes a difference. If nothing changes, then clearly they weren't buying that many houses. Japanese government bond demand is crashing. Japanese insurers sold 5.2 billion of bonds with maturities of 10 plus years in December, the largest monthly sale since data began in 2004. This marks the fifth consecutive monthly sale, the longest streak on record. Over the period, insurers sold a net 8.7 billion of long-term bonds. Meanwhile, on Tuesday, Japan's 20-year government bond auction demand fell significantly below its 12-month average. The bid-to-cover ratio dropped 3.19, down from 4.1 at the last auction, and below the 12-month average of 3.34. This indicates weaker demand relative to the bonds to the bonds on offer. Japan's bond market crisis is deepening. President Trump, our stock market dip is peanuts. That stock market is going to be doubled. Trump says the Dow is going to hit 50,000 and double to 100K in a relatively short period of time. That is kind of a crazy thing to say. President Trump says he will not take military action on Greenland. I don't have to use force. I won't use force, Trump says. We are nearing step number 8 of our tariff playbook. Let's go check that out. Tariff playbook, step number 8. On the following weekend, roughly 1 week later, which it's been less than 1 week, they're definitely accelerating the timeline, probably because of the market reaction and the threats to sell government bonds and all that stuff. President Trump posts that discussions are underway and that he is working toward a solution with leaders of countries targeted by the tariffs. He said that with the NATO thing. Number 9, a Sunday evening of that weekend at 6 p.m., futures open sharply higher as optimism returns, but gains fade into the Monday cash market open. So we're looking for maybe Thursday, Friday for this to happen. After Monday open, senior administration officials such as Besant appear on live television to reassure investors, emphasize progress toward a deal. Over the next 2 to 4 weeks, various members of the Trump admin continue to tease progress toward a trade agreement. A trade deal is announced and markets hit new record highs. Repeat, step number 1. So that's what we're looking for. Next, we've got U.S. pending home sales unexpectedly fall 9.3% month over month, far worse than the 0.3% expected decline. This marks the largest decline since the pandemic in 2020. I actually think that's exciting and bullish. U.S. markets surge as President Trump rolls out military action in Greenland. We are now on step 7 of our tariff playbook, with timing exactly outlined. The EU has officially suspended their trade deal with the U.S. amid Greenland tariff tension. This is another good one. President Trump, or the President of the United States, just said the Dow Jones will hit 100,000 soon, and $2,000 tariff stimulus checks are coming without congressional approval. How can you be bearish of assets? Hell yeah. I don't know how they're going to do that without congressional approval, but I'm here for it. Denmark's foreign minister has rejected President Trump's demand to negotiate the U.S. takeover of Greenland. It's not up to him. The U.S. Supreme Court appears likely to deny President Trump's request to immediately fire Fed Governor Lisa Cook. So you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. According to the Supreme Court of the United States, it is perfectly legal for you to commit mortgage fraud. Very cool. The S&P 500 falls 50 points in minutes, erasing majority of today's gain as buyers lose momentum. There's the Wednesday reversal we called for step number 7 of our playbook. This was 8 hours ago, by the way. 6 hours ago, EU holdings of U.S. assets are massive. I think this was their trump card, pun intended. EU investors now hold a record $10 trillion worth of U.S. assets, according to Treasury data. U.S. equities represent the largest portion at $6 trillion, or 58% of total EU holdings. At the same time, EU holdings of U.S. Treasuries stand at $2 trillion, or 19% of the total. Expanding beyond the EU, all European countries, including the UK, Norway, and Switzerland, reflect 40% of all foreign treasury holdings. EU investors also own $2 trillion in U.S. corporate and other bonds, and $225 billion in agency bonds. Europe's financial exposure to the U.S. has never been larger. So they have quite a large leverage, if you will. Tom Selleck said, LOL, all the stock market doomed posts age like milk, right? Right? President Trump, after Denmark rejects his demand for negotiations on Greenland, he said, tell it to my face. I love it. President Trump says he will no longer be imposing 10% tariffs on EU countries on February 1st. Trump says he has formed the framework for a future deal with respect to Greenland with the Secretary General of NATO. We read that earlier. Huge news. Still not a lot of people talking about it, which is odd to me. S&P 500 surges over 1% after President Trump cancels 10% tariffs on EU. Just like that, step number 8 of our tariff playbook has arrived. Gold and silver prices fall sharply as President Trump announces he's no longer imposing 10% tariffs on EU. This is the most tradable and profitable market of all time. This is the most profitable market in history. Stocks are now extending gains to a new high of the day. The S&P 500 up 1.5%. Take a minute to read step number 1 through 8 of our tariff playbook. There will be more to come. Systematic investing is winning. Systematic investing is winning. Dollar cost average, baby. DCA all day. President Trump says the U.S. will be involved in Greenland's mineral rights under his new deal. Greenland is estimated to hold reserves of natural resources worth as much as $5 trillion. President Trump says Russia's President Putin has agreed to join his board of peace. President Trump says he wants a Fed chair like Alan Greenspan of the 1990s. Greenspan cut rates early, hiked rates late, and let risky assets run. Own assets or be left behind. Bitcoin, $89,924.78. Probably going to die off slowly, just like we read in the tariff playbook. Cheers, guys. Happy Wednesday. Oh, that's delicious. I needed that so bad. Okay. Breaking. Initial details on the Trump-Greenland deal have emerged. Involves small pockets of land for the U.S. U.S. involved in Greenland mineral rights. Duration of the deal has an indefinite time frame. Designed to block Russian influence in Greenland. U.S. Golden Dome system will be involved. Opens door to U.S.-backed infrastructure investment. Trump is looking to secure land, minerals, and defense in one deal. Hell yeah. That actually explains the dramatic, violent entrance of his desire, I guess, the art of the deal situation. This one was the Ondo news that I was talking about earlier. Ondo Finance launches 200 plus tokenized stocks, ETFs, bonds, and commodities on Solana as the push toward tokenization accelerates. This includes stocks like Nvidia, Amazon, Walmart, and Meta. That's huge. As a result, the number of tokenized assets on Solana just increased by 400%. These assets were launched via Jupiter Exchange, the largest on-chain platform in the world, with New York Stock Exchange-backed liquidity. The announcement comes just 48 hours after the New York Stock Exchange said it would launch 24/7 U.S. stock trading through a new on-chain tokenized exchange. Wall Street is moving on-chain. Now, here's my question. If that humongous news just happened, basically, without saying it, Wall Street, New York Stock Exchange saying that they were going to use Ondo to tokenize the entire frickin' New York Stock Exchange. Why is Ondo 34 cents? Should it not be in the top 10? I want to do something really quick. Let's go to market cap of, and I want to see Ondo with the same market cap. Is that? There we go. Ondo with the same market cap as Tron, because I don't think Tron deserves to be in the top 10. Ondo would be $5.82 or a 16.91x. Tron, which people allegedly, the only time I've ever heard of anybody using Tron is to move stablecoins. If Tron's being used to move stablecoins and it's in the top 10, with Ondo having the entire New York Stock Exchange on it, shouldn't it be in the top 10? I'm just saying. It's Kwame said markets aren't reacting to good news. It's weird. I mean, the news is neither good nor bad. The markets are reacting to nothing burger. Like, we're recovering slowly, and it's because of the uncertainty. Gosh, my analogies get so dark. I instantly went to something crazy like your mom being drunk all the time. Like, why is that in my That's too much. I need to relax. Um, if let's say your buddy always makes plans with you and he constantly flakes out every time. You're gonna be hesitant to make plans with him this weekend. If he calls you up, he's like, "Hey man, let's go party this weekend." You'd be like, "Why don't you call me on Saturday, and then we'll see." What do you mean? Let's make plans. That's Trump right now. The entire market is watching him flip out, and then he's like, "Well, never mind. Everything's good now. We're all cool. We're good." So everyone's like, are we? Are we good? Because I just sold all my bags. You're telling me I should go buy back now? It's kind of recovered a little bit now, though. I don't really want to buy back. So everyone's hesitant, and it's uncertainty still. The market does not like uncertainty. There's no done deal yet. All we got was Trump saying no tariffs, and the EU said, we're not going to do a trade deal with you anymore, bitch. And that's it. Besides that, Trump said that there's like some framework going on, which is just his word at this point. Nobody really cares about that. It is something new every week. So as right now, we're in limbo still. Entirely in limbo. Our fate is in, unfortunately, Donald Trump's hands. Now, I will say, the timeline for him is shrinking significantly. Midterms are approaching this year, and we will have a new Fed chair in May. So we got February, March, April, 3 months. May, we get a new Fed chair. Rates probably go to zero, if we're being real, and the market explodes. So that's my guess right now with the little bits and pieces that we have to form some sort of opinion. Bitcoin, $90,000, $10.13. We're back above 90K, which is huge. That's a big deal. All right. U.S. debt crisis intensifies. 26% of U.S. federal debt is set to mature within the next 12 months, one of the largest portions in the century. By comparison, the peak was 29% in 2020, when interest rates set by the Fed were at zero. Interesting. Between 2010 and 2020, this percentage remained below 20%. Currently, interest rates stand at 3.75%, with the market pricing in 2 cuts this year. This means that really they're only pricing in 2 cuts this year. We're about to get a pro-Trump Fed chair, and they're only pricing in 2 cuts. This means $10 trillion in debt must be refinanced at significantly higher interest rates over the coming year. This comes as the U.S. Treasury has shifted toward issuing shorter-dated bonds to minimize interest costs in the near term. Who is going to buy all of this debt? We are, because all we have to do is print more money. If you guys haven't already, look into modern monetary theory. It's literally basically explains that inflation is, I guess, psychological. Yeah, 1 cut will be 3%. That's fair. That's fair. Inflation, I think inflation is a fabrication, and they do all of this political theater with Trump and Powell going back and forth. They're like, I don't like you. You're dumb. You're stupid. You're orange. You're fat. You're old. You're dumb. And everyone's like, oh my gosh. The president and that old guy are fighting because of money. It must be valuable, right? Inflation? Oh no. They can't print that much money. Meanwhile, in 2020, we printed 700-800% of our money that we've ever had on the planet. And it didn't go up 800%. Anything. So as far as I'm concerned, inflation is just one guy finding out, oh shit, there's more money available, so I can actually raise the cost of my macaroni from $1 to $1.50. Oh, we're about to be so rich. And then the other guy sees that and he's like, oh shit, they raised the cost of their macaroni 50%. I think Campbell's soup could sell for $1.50, right? And then everybody does it. They're like, oh my gosh, we can make so much more money. We can literally increase our profits by 50% because it doesn't cost us more to make these things. And then everybody does it. And then you have inflation. That's my personal take. And the modern monetary theory kind of goes into that, the idea that any government that prints their own money doesn't have to worry about inflation because they control everything in their country, so it's just a meme. I think all of our political theater that we sprinkle on top of it, like, ooh, Jerome Powell and Donald Trump don't like each other. The whole planet's watching, and then they're like, oh shit, the US dollar has value because Powell said Trump can shove it. And that's it. It's all just a meme. Tom Stock Scout said the one in May on the Fed chair's first day. That'd be hilarious. Fed chair just throws up. He's like, rate cut 0. Everyone would be like, yeah. And then the global economy collapses. All right. Bitcoin up 0.71%, $90,087.27. Latest financial data provider Unusual Whales launches unusual predictions to flag potential insider betting on Polymarket. Very cool. Guys, don't forget to smash the like button. I appreciate you guys for being here. If you're new, please consider subscribing. And if you haven't already, direct your attention to the poll in the chat. 40% of you so far said you are going all in, or you think the money goes all in on Bitcoin and crypto. 30% said gold and silver buy the dip. 20% said cash, sidelines, stablecoins, and 10% said tech stocks. Interesting. Okay. Cointelegraph posted, Trump says 1 year after returning to the White House, growth is strong, investment is surging, and inflation is solved. Honest to God, normally I would call out BS. I do think that inflation is, like, I wouldn't say the word solved, but they got a really big cap on inflation, and it's doing a damn good job. Now, I'm not going to sit there and say that Trump did that. It's very much, in my opinion, probably 60-40. 60% being Powell, 40% being Trump, but I don't know. No one really will ever know, to be honest. Joe Weatherford said, wait, I just noticed the thumbnail. It's nice, getting better. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next, we've got NASDAQ listed AVAX 1 rolls out an institutional-grade avalanche validator supporting public delegation. That's pretty cool. I did not know that there was a NASDAQ-listed AVAX 1. Tom Soxgood said, when something is less scarce, it's worth less. I don't believe that, though, because you think it is? That doesn't make any sense. That literally makes no sense. You know what's not worth less? Food. And there's a shit ton of food on the planet. There's so much food on the planet. And we actually pay more for it. And when it gets popular, you pay more for it. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. I think inflation is a meme. I really do. I've actually had this argument with Grok. And Grok is like, well, the data show. I'm like, yeah, the data's going to show that. Because the humans are the ones creating the data. And are, like, psychologically... like, oh, well, inflation because there's more money, so it's not worth as much. Like, that makes sense when your government sucks and they just print like crazy and throw it into the streets and stuff. People don't have to go to work at that point. But that's not the case here. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. While banking stalls, U.S. Senate Agriculture Committee is expected to release a new crypto bill next Tuesday. What? Text today? I don't understand how to read. Expected to release new crypto bill text today. That's a weird sentence. With a vote expected next week. Again, I don't know why the Agriculture, Nutrition, and Forestry Committee is anything to do with crypto. It's very confusing. Tom Selleck said if that one Pokemon card that exists on the whole planet is worth $1 million, what happens if all of a sudden there were 20 of those Pokemon cards? That's commodities, though. That's not cash. We're talking about cash. The value of cash literally shouldn't change. You literally just described what happened during COVID. Yeah, and so what happened during COVID? Let's talk about this, because I do want to talk about this. I think this is hilarious. This is one of my favorite topics to rant about. During COVID, let's say, I don't know the exact numbers. Let's say we had $10 trillion in circulation before. And now, let's say, and again, I don't know if this is the exact number. Now let's say we have 100 trillion. Brad back here is $2 a loaf. And let's say bread here is $3 a loaf. You know what didn't happen? Somehow this isn't $20 a loaf. Now, explain that to me. If inflation is so cut and dry, if we 10x our money supply, why isn't the cost of everything 10 times as much? That's my question. That is why I think inflation is fabricated. Look at Arizona tea. They haven't changed their price ever because it doesn't cost them any more money to produce the good. The cost of things goes up because Joe Blow thinks he can make more money. He knows. He's like, oh shit, they got more of that money? They got more of that money out there. Ooh, I'm going to start charging more for my pizza. I'm going to charge, I can add an extra $1.50, $2, $3 to the Big Mac. People will pay that, right? There's more money out there, right? And then nothing happens. Something goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% over the course of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Nobody gives a shit. That's inflation. It's bullshit. I think it's a meme. There are more dollars, so therefore each one is worth less. It's not a direct correlation. It doesn't have to be 1-to-1. That right there is why I think it's bullshit. Saeed said, is 9,936 last 4 numbers of your mobile? I got a reply on YouTube mentioning your full number. No, it is not. So I will never try to contact any of you guys for anything. So don't ever think that I'm reaching out for anything like that. I will never ask you guys to send me money privately, anything like that. I'll never try to offer you some, lucrative deal. Don't ever send money anywhere for anything. If you don't know the person, don't send money to people on the internet. And no, that is not my phone number. But yeah, I think inflation is a meme. And I'm sure that's a hot take, but I don't really give a crap. If I'm being totally real. I'm not going to die on that hill. It's really not important to me. But I do think it is quite silly. Google about Arizona iced tea. They're making less profit. They even admit it. That's because everybody else raised the prices, so they're probably having to spend more on their freaking aluminum and ingredients because all the other jackasses raised their prices. Or maybe they hired more, but they're still making profit. I'm just saying. So, inflation becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, but nowhere near the extent that it should be if it is simply because, more dollar equals more cost. That makes no fucking sense. That makes 0 sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. Mr. Roberts said, gotta check the shed. And peace out for the night. Thanks for the live, JJ. And thanks all for being a solid gang. I appreciate you, Mr. Roberts. Cheers, my friend. Happy Wednesday. Tom Sellerscope, they said they still make profit. Just less. That ST ain't staying 99 cents forever. And again, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to blame the aluminum guy for selling them aluminum for more money because he can. Because, there's more money out there. And the freaking tea leaf guy, whatever, I don't know what they do to get the tea leaves. The tea leaf guy being like, I'm going to charge more because there's more money out there. And they're all going to do that. And this guy is going to have a little bit of integrity. And he's going to go, you know what? I'm not going to raise my price like all you fuckers did. I'm going to keep my price the same because I'm a millionaire. I don't need to be a billionaire. Or maybe he's a billionaire. But why do you need more money? These people are so greedy. Get worked up. Lex Luthor said, we're seeing the birth of new monetary system, the Bitcoin standard. Look at it. I don't think I've ever seen somebody more crypto than Brian Armstrong. This dude is like, I don't know. I'm waiting for him to have like a cybernetic eye or something. He's like slowly evolving into like this fictional character. Big Ken Griffin. That's weird. They call him Big Ken Griffin. Big Ken Griffin said recent research shows U.S. tariffs have been paid for by American consumers and businesses, meaning the revenue raised came at the expense of the American people. I genuinely, legitimately, I do not understand how this is news to anybody. That is how tariffs work. We've talked about this 1,000 times. If you want to import something from another country, you are going to have to pay extra. That's the bottom line. And everyone's like, it's a tax. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And if they're able to get rid of taxes because of that, then guess what? It's selective. If you could not pay taxes because you don't want to participate or buy the thing that the taxes are on, then you don't have to. That's the beauty of tariffs. So imagine if you did not have income tax and some rich a-hole imports a Bugatti and he pays, probably what would equate to taxes on several households for the year because he's filthy rich. Guess what that is? That's a tax on the rich and a tax on the people that need to import foreign goods. And that means that people are going to be more inclined to spend in America where you don't get taxed. I don't know. It just seems too beneficial to me. The benefits far outweigh the risk. There's going to be some growing pains, which I think we've gotten through personally, but it should be no surprise to anybody that tariffs are costing the American people. Tom Selleck's Goat said, I low-key love Brian Armstrong. Didn't used to, but lately he's been on fire. Dude, 100%. I think Tishtu sent me a link to one of his videos. Dude, he is like eating these mother effers. It's like one of my favorite things is when Zuckerberg went to, I think it was Congress or something, and they were like, Mr. Zuckerberg, how come when my niece posts on the Facebook, I can't see the photos unless I like go on her account? And then he's like has to explain to them the dumbest thing in the world. It's like that, only it's very technical. With Brian Armstrong, the French guy's like, I don't trust the Bitcoin, and it's not, it's not, it's controlled by centralized entities. And Brian Armstrong's like, no, it's not. What are you talking about? Are you stupid? But he's like so clear cut and concise and very professional about it. And the French guy's like, like a cocky asshole. And he ends up looking like an idiot on national television. And he probably doesn't even realize it because Brian Armstrong is a freaking gangster. He's slowly becoming CZ level scary, but not in like a I will destroy you kind of way, just in like a I will make you look like a complete idiot kind of way, which is awesome. So I agree. Ripple predicts 2026 will be the year institutional crypto goes mainstream, driven by stablecoins, tokenization, custody, and AI. All things that required no specific blockchain. Very cool. Thank you, Ripple. A solo Bitcoin miner has successfully mined a block, earning 3.13 Bitcoin worth about $289,000. Guys, I do think that I'm going to order myself a lottery miner. They're really cool looking, and I feel like it'd just be fun to just have it sitting on my desk, hopefully eventually making me a ridiculously large sum of money. So I think I'm going to do that soon. I'll probably document the process just for fun, but they look sick. And imagine just coming home one day and being like, oh my gosh, I have $300,000. Suddenly there's 300K in my Bitcoin wallet. Where did that come from? You know how cool of a feeling that probably is? President Trump canceled EU tariffs set for February 1st. Very cool. Bitcoin is facing rising selling pressure as negative net taker volume on Binance derivatives and over 400 million in Bitcoin whale deposits to spot exchanges signal increased distribution risk. I think another big risk that Bitcoin is going to have soon is the cost of mining. If the price continues to decrease, eventually it's going to hit, I forget the term, it's like cost basis or something like that. Eventually it's going to be costing miners to mine Bitcoin, which nobody wants that. Why would you ever mine Bitcoin if it costs you money? You know what I mean? Like the lottery miner is one thing, but if you're doing it for a living, you could just as easily, like I was talking about yesterday, you could pivot your hardware to AI and make money, like cold hard cash. So Bitcoin's great as long as it increases in value. I'm just saying. Today, the U.S. stock market added roughly $700 billion in market cap today. Let's freaking go. Power market traders are pricing a 98% probability that the Fed leaves rates unchanged at its January meeting. Interesting. I'm telling you guys, I got that $5 on a rate cut, and if I win, I'm gonna win like a stupid amount of money, And it is a complete gamble. It's silly. But if by some crazy miracle, Powell was like, well, we're going to do a 25 basis point rate cut, then I'm going to make a lot of money. It's going to be pretty fun. Crypto markets saw $648.6 million in liquidations over the past 24 hours, split between $310.3 million in longs and $338.3 million in shorts. Look at that. Even split. Shorts and longs get wrecked. Guys, this is why if you trade leverage, you need to be careful. Make sure that you're not playing with more money than you can afford to lose. That's the bottom line. Do not play with more than you can afford to lose. Investing is different. Playing, leverage is playing. You are playing with your money at that point. So treat it like that. It is a gamble. It can be fun. It can be lucrative. It can be cool. You can sign up in the description via BitUnix and support the channel, but you should treat it like gambling. There's a Kalshi link down there as well if you guys want to do prediction markets. It's a lot of fun. I have had 0 of my prediction market bets come to fruition yet, so it is a very patient game. But it's very concise. There's no like maybe. It's, one or the other. You either win money or lose yours. Bitcoin has slipped to 89.4K as gold and silver surged. This was 2 hours ago. But on-chain data shows whales continue accumulating while small retail wallets sell, signaling a long-term bullish divergence. Interesting. Another reminder, this is from 6 days ago now, TechDev, a rare post from TechDev. We are at the point in the business cycle where bullish reversal momentum is decidedly building, which has signaled every one of its major reversals in the last 25 years, including after the 2000.com bubble and the 2008 financial crisis. Since Bitcoin existed, those reversals have triggered its parabolic runs. Bitcoin started existing 2009, 2010, and you got divergence, parabolic run, divergence, parabolic run, divergence, parabolic run. So we'll see what happens. It's gonna be a cool outcome. February 1st, February 2nd is when we get the ISM PMI data release. That's gonna be a big day, so we'll keep an eye out for that. I think we got 11 or 12 days. This one was cool. KitSats posted, acting broke with Bitcoin and cold storage is a superpower. I feel like that's what you're supposed to do as well. And it is maybe hard for some. One of my favorite things to talk about is how crypto literally like rewired my brain financially. I had no savings before I got into crypto. I got into crypto and I was like, wow, I'm spending so much money on all this garbage. I literally quit smoking and I saved thousands of dollars a month. And I stopped spending money on frivolous things. I'm not like I'm not worthy of the cheapskates show where people literally like make a bed out of like styrofoam peanuts. But I'm just not being irresponsible with my money, and it feels so good. It feels so good to have money. It's crazy. It's crazy to think something as degenerative as cryptocurrency did that for me. $10 trillion BlackRock CEO just said live at Davos that the world will rapidly adopt Bitcoin and crypto. They are telling you. Huge. So pay attention. I've said it before. I'll say it again. When they want retail to return, they will get retail to return. Wicked posted, secure that sub 100K cost basis for all of eternity. Coin on the Cob posted, if Bitcoin was 250K, your DCA would get you a lot less right now. Keep stacking, my friend. That's a good point. That is a great point. Bar chart posted, CBOE Volatility Index VIX closes above 20 for the first time since November. Volatility has returned to the market. Praise, I don't know, do you praise Jesus? Praise whoever you praise. Praise the market. Praise the New York Stock Exchange or something. Jim Cramer. S&P 500 SPY offers biggest loss since October 10th. Damn. I think that got erased. That was 20 hours ago. 10-year Treasury yield closes at 4.3%, its highest level since August. Crazy. Cocoa plunges to its lowest price in 2 years. Chocolate lovers rejoice. I think that's continuing, actually. For some reason, chocolate's just decreasing. Natural gas soared by almost 20% for its fourth best day in the last 20 years. That sucks. I don't want my bill to increase by 20%, but that's fine, I'm sure. Corporate bond spreads fell fall to lowest level since 2007. That's a little bit alarming. Airbnb forms a golden cross. That one's interesting to me. I feel like Airbnb would be one of the worst. Like, if we're genuinely heading into a recession, nobody's going to rent a house. Danish pension fund to dump entire 100 million U.S. Treasury position by end of January. Damn. U.S. M2 money supply hits all-time high of 22.3 trillion. Money printer go burr. Breaking, Netflix is now trading below its 200-day moving average by more than 24%, the most since 2022. Honestly, I genuinely believe losing Stranger Things, like Stranger Things ending, was a big, big blow, because that was like their first big show. It might have been their first series that they did. I don't remember. Emerging market stocks now outperforming U.S. equities by the largest margin since 2023. Crazy. That also looks like a giant inverse head and shoulders. Bitcoin, $90,088.26. Do a portfolio update. The 1K to 10K Grok portfolio is currently down 526%, 524%. $524, 52.4%. Jeez, I gotta go to bed or something. Solana is the best performer, currently down 23. Aptos is the worst performer, currently down 75. Interesting. Meme coin portfolio down 100. No, 200. Is it 100? This is a $1,000 portfolio. Okay, down $613. 61.3%. Wow. Best performers Pepe down 80, down 91. Worst performer is GigaChad down 170. Wow, that's crazy. Then we've got the narrative portfolio, my favorite, and I believe the best performer, currently down 198 or 19 point, nope, 198 or 39.6%. It's actually increasing. Best performer is Tau, currently down $15 or 15%. Worst performer is VeChain, currently down $61 or 61%. And then last but not least, we've got the knife catching portfolio, currently down 452 or 45.2%. Best performer is Chainlink, currently down 617. Yeah, $17 or 17%. Worst performer is Avalanche, currently down $64 or 64%. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Bitcoin chilling. Let's go see if the liquidation heat map is fixed yet. Tom Selleck said bought a few shares of Netflix at 82. Just think it's a good entry for even short term. I mean, everything's going to go up perpetually for forever, so it's not a bad idea to buy literally anything, in my opinion. Derek said, "Sup, JJ? What's going on, Derek?" Guys, last night my daughter expressed interest in Harry Potter for the first time. Like, she wants to watch the entire series. So I went on my way home from work today. I bought a bunch of snacks. I'm going to make us a snack tray, and we're going to sit down. We're going to watch Harry Potter. I'm very excited. Tom Selk said we bought the top of all that shit. The worst one was Avalanche. Anthony Scaramucci was like, Avalanche. And we're like, oh, we got to buy Avalanche with Scaramucci. And he literally bought like the Pico top. And that was in the perfect entry portfolio too. I don't know what we were thinking. For some reason, I put that on there. And you guys voted for it. So we're both complicit. It's not just my fault. I'm technically the enabler, but I don't know why I did that. Derek said, "Sup, JJ? What's going on, Derek?" Tom Selleck's code. It's so good. We bought the top of all of that shit. That's such a good sentence. G Immortal said, "Sup, JJ? What's going on, G Immortal?" Cheers, guys. Happy Wednesday. I'm grateful to have you guys as my audience. You guys are all awesome. I thoroughly enjoy your company. Okay. Liquidation heat map is fixed. We've got 89,297. 89,297. Do these people just like instant, like, are people just like going 100x long on Bitcoin all day? 90,391. Like, these have got to be like highly leveraged positions, which I think is ridiculous. I guess I underestimate the gambling addiction that has a chokehold on America. 92,067, I guess the world. I don't know. I'm sitting here, running a cryptocurrency YouTube channel. I was about to say I've never had a gambling problem, but let's be honest. 90,974. I've never been to the casino. I enjoy buying a scratch off like once a month, it's very rare. 85,798. I like to buy we buy the bingo ones and the crossword ones just so I can torture myself before I realize I've threw my money in the garbage. Let me do right in the middle right here. 88,277. All right. That's it. Those are our liquidation points. We are smack dab in the middle, closer to the upper level than we are at the lower level. Tom Salkscoat said, yes, I'm stoked for you, man. I can't wait till my boy shows interest to watch with him. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Like, I put on The Prisoner of Azkaban, and she was like wired, and I like fell asleep a little bit, and I woke back up. Like, she started on the couch, like lying on, like sitting on the couch, and then I woke up and I like looked, and she was like sitting up, like with her face like at the TV, and I was like very proud. I'm so excited. Derek said, "How's Fartcoin?" Let's go take a look. Let's go take a look at Fartcoin. Bitcoin looks really good, man. I mean, as good as it can. Fartcoin is up 2.29% on the day, currently trading at 38.39. We got a beautiful bullish cross over the moving average on the RSI. I'm going to call it right here. We had like failed attempt here and here. Broke below technically Wednesday, January 14th, and got back above today. We got above support continuation, and we're continuing to the upside. 40 right here. That's 40. So we got above moving average, got above 40, tested, continue, looks good. We also got a confirmed green dot on Market Cipher on the 4-hour time frame, pointing to the upside. That is at the Pico low right here. Cardano has that as well, and one other was XRP. Yeah, Cardano and XRP both also have that, which is very exciting because I hold some of those coins. Nice wick indicative of some buying pressure, which every single coin has right now. What's nice about Fartcoin is it held 29.13, and we did lose 32.76. Let's see, we lost 36, lost 32.76, rejected, and continued to the downside. Held support at 29, and hopefully we can use that as a springboard. We might maybe reject and then midpoint and then form that inverse head and shoulder. That's a possibility for sure. Again, that's entirely fantasy. There's nothing here to indicate a right shoulder yet, so I'm kind of just making stuff up as I go. What's interesting here is we got very nice wick indicative of some buying pressure and then a wick indicative of some selling pressure, and those both correlate heavily with our line, points of confluence. This wick right here bounced off of 29.139. This wick right here, the candle body closed at 32.765 essentially. So it goes to show you why we're stuck in this range right here. There's a lot of confluence at those points, people buying and selling, and it's because I don't know if it's a psychological level, I don't know. People just like those price points. Gourmet said, awesome. You gotta take her to Universal Studios. She'll love the Harry Potter section. Best roller coasters. We have never been there to like Florida either. The farthest south we've gone is South Carolina. I personally have been to Georgia, so I know I can make the drive in 24 hours. But we are planning on eventually going down to Florida so that we can experience Universal and stuff like that. Gourmet said the Kalshi site is addictive. Does anyone know who will win the 2026 Nepal House of Representatives election? Isn't it addicting? I've had so much fun. John Tujo said, I put all my money into Queef coin. Should we take a look at Queef coin? There's probably multiple derivatives. Let's take a look. I feel like I would buy Queef. Oh shoot, there is not that many Queef coins. Nipple, ass, sperm, dick, and anal queef. Dude. Oh, it's the NASDAQ. I feel like we should buy some of this. There's almost no liquidity. Should we revive nipple, ass, sperm, dick, anal queef? Or should we just buy some queef coin? Queefing is gross. Oh, John said it was a joke. Listen, John. I don't know what channel you think this is. but I take my job very seriously. If you said you bought Queef coin, I'm going to assume you bought Queef coin, and I'm probably going to buy some Queef coin. So shame on you. I can't believe nipple ass sperm dick anal queef exists. It's just like, what? Why would they rug this? What a missed opportunity, man. Who ruined this name? That is a beautiful coin. I'm so upset. I can't believe you did that to me. Oh, shoot. Oh, okay. Pengu up 3.04%. Monad is up 1.92. The recovery is slowly accumulating. John said, Queef coin? I didn't think it was a real thing. Are you serious? Who are you talking to, John? I'm the godfather of degenerate, retarded ass memes. I've never claimed that title before in my life. I'm improvising. Sometimes I improv and it's not that great. I apologize. Avalanche, interestingly, struggling at our upper trend line at 12.6. Can we get above that? The trend potentially following the fractal. If we break the fractal, I'll be happy, because that'll be probably more than likely to the upside. Farcoin's up 2.19. Polkadot's up 1.13. Stellar's up 1.32. Is there a taint coin? I guarantee you there's a taint coin. Bam. Oh, no, there's not. Ashfall market uncertainty. What is the name of this? Address copied. What if I just want to read the whole name? You're not allowed to read the whole name? Ashfall market uncertainty? I don't know. I guess not. That's crazy. Bitcoin, that's kind of funny. Fartless. Whoa. Fartless. You know what? Maybe we'll do a day soon where we just gamble on Solana meme coins. I think that'd be fun. It's been a while. It's been a long time. We'll throw it on like $50, $100 and try and double it. Aerodrome up 1.29%. John said, sounds like we should start a taint coin. I feel like it's possible. I don't know if I want to start one, because then I feel like that's so easy to fall into the rut of people being like, you rugged your audience, even if it's for fun. If somebody else starts it, I'll probably throw a couple bucks into it, but I don't know. I feel like it's weird to start your own coin. I'm like one of the few people that doesn't have his own coin, and like there's like a big group of us, and I got no problem with people that do that, but I'm not one of those people. If I ever do something, I've talked about this a little bit. I don't know if I've talked about it here. I have plans actually to launch, and it is an NFT, but it's not like for the art or anything like that. It would be a raffle to win $1,000 worth of my Pokemon cards. I have all of my Pokemon cards from when I was a kid, and I think their current valuation is at like $7,000 or $8,000 right now in their condition and everything. That's all completely ungraded and everything like that. And I thought it'd be fun to take $1,000 worth and essentially auction it off with an NFT. Each NFT I think would be like $5 or $10, and the total amount would be, I don't know what the total amount would be, but once we reached the total, like once all of the NFTs were sold out, then I would probably do a live stream and pick the winner. The only thing is the winner would have to share their address with me. So, and I don't know how I would do that with like guarantee that it's the same person. They would have to send me an NFT of their name or something. I don't know. I'd have to probably build a website or some kind of portal to do it. But I'm not going to just like run into that concept. I've thought about it, and it'll be very well crafted if I ever do it. Tom Selexcoat said, don't do a coin. That's what started Jordan's demise. I was there. I was there, Gandalf. I was there 3,000 years ago. I don't know if that's what started his demise. There was some weird nonsense with his ex, and then he got weird, and then he started being mean to his audience. It got weird, man. I feel bad too. He was a great streamer. I watched him every single day. Every single day. I guess I shouldn't say I feel bad. He has like over 100,000 subscribers now, so he's doing great. I do miss the streams. Auto's up 1.71%. Squeeze up 1.53. HBAR is up 1.26. XRP is up 0.41. Midnight's up 0.32. SNEC is up 0.2. ADA is up 0.41. Total 3 is up 0.65. Let's actually go take a look at Total 2. It's been a minute since we've looked at Total 2. And Total 1. Okay, so the fractal here, little bit of a decoupling. We could recouple. I'm joking. Let's see. Is there any hope for this? Nope. Should I trash it, or is that like trying to hide my past? I'll make it more. No, it's too messy. I'm going to delete this fractal. So everyone observe it. Realize sometimes JJ is wrong. That for that 0.1%, guys, just observe. This is a very rare moment. Like 99.99% of the time, I am always right. So this is that rare moment. I did do this on purpose. I fumbled it on purpose. So that way you guys could see that I am in fact human. And I do make mistakes. So bask in it. Enjoy it. Take a screenshot. Whatever. Make a video. I'm going to delete it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Never happened. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I've never been wrong. I've been right 100% of the time. That fractal doesn't exist. You guys are crazy. There's no such thing as gaslighting. Okay. Total 2. I like looking at this one. Makes me happy because we can talk about the chop, the dump, the sideways chop, and then the pop. The dump, the sideways chop, and then the pop. And what's really cool about this is I think Total 2 depicts that in the best way. We have the slow grind up. We've never quite had a market like this before. Like, we've had a crazy bull market. Really cool. Wow. We've never had a market where it's very prolonged, like almost several markets in one. That's why I do genuinely believe fractal fake quant. I do genuinely believe that the market has changed. And I'm not going to say, oh, it's for sure, but I personally think that we are either in a prolonged, like 5-year or more cycle, or that's gone out the window entirely, and it's more like the S&P 500, where we have like long-term bull market, short-term bear market, and it's nothing like the 4-year. Like, it's several markets can occur within 1 year. You can have bull, bear, bull, bear, bull, bear, all within, 2025. That's just based on evidence that I see here. The volume is tremendous, and the growth is very obvious. Looks great. It looks great. Problem is, if we break down, then it's going to look really, 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 really bad. So we do kind of have to keep up this momentum and cross our fingers and hope that it stays that way. So far, yeah, I mean, it's there. It's an idea. It's a concept. But this does go into my pump, dump, chop, pump, dump, chop, pump, dump, chop. Usually the pump comes after this. So when is it going to happen? I have no idea. The average based on recent, post ETFs and like pro crypto administration. I think we did this the other day. Bottom to bottom right here is 90. We're going to call it 92 days. And then bottom to bottom here, we're going to call this one 80 days. So about 85. We're going to call it 85, 86 days. Bottom to bottom. We're going to call this the first bottom right here. Let's go 85, 86. We're looking at February 14th. Valentine's Day. What do you know? What if Valentine's Day was the Pico bottom? And we launch from that point, and we all make a ridiculous amount of money and retire. ComSolid said Cowan's talking about next bull in like 2028 or 2030 or some shit. That doesn't make me happy. Doesn't make me happy either. But like I said before, I've made more money in the bear market, like the 2022, 2023 bear market, than I made my entire life. So if that's where we're heading, then that's where we're heading. We're going to diversify into stock market, gold, silver, maybe freaking bond market, who knows. And, by the time crypto comes back around, maybe we'll have accumulated so much wealth that we become millionaires before the bull market even really begins. That'd be pretty sick. Okay, total crypto market cap. Bam. We are right on schedule. Look at that. Ooh, gosh, I love looking at this stuff. Look at that. Oh my gosh. So the fractal, happy little accident right here. Might have just called the bottom. And then we're looking for another one February 9th and another one February 18th. I don't know if that's going to play out that way at all. It might not play out like that in any way, shape, or form. We might literally just do this. My very, very long-term breakout, which we've talked about this. I've illustrated it way too often. Jeez. I got to put that somewhere else. Right here, we had a 2-month pump, 9-month bleed, a 5-month pump, a 5-month bleed, a 9-month pump, and a 2-month bleed. I don't know what comes next, but this did kind of flip-flop. If you actually look, it is mirrored. We got long, those are both 9 months, short, those are both 2 months, and this is just 5 months, 5 months. So this is a head and shoulder, actually, and we are currently on our neckline for that. I pointed out before as well, when we see that and it invalidates spectacularly. Now, I don't know if this counts as a head and shoulder because the right shoulder is as tall as the head. If you're going off of like the exact top, which we have drawn on here. So I don't know if textbook would allow that, if it would be invalidated. I have no idea. I don't know the technicals of head and shoulder. But I do know that these moves mirror each other. I don't know if this next one is going to be 5 months. I don't know if it's going to be 9 months. I don't know if it's going to be 12 months. I have no clue. If it goes by my theory, it's going to be a very, very long, drawn-out, slow grind to the upside. 14-month rise is what I have. I don't know, is that the one going into December? This is 405. So that would be 365 plus 60. That would be like 420. So 20 days after that. So let's go to 420. 420 is approximately, bam, January 2027. Wouldn't that be crazy if we topped out in January? We have a full year of bull market ahead of us. Again, it's just a theory, just an idea based on this crazy chart. As of right now, we're at 3.01 trillion. Hold above 3, I think, is going to be an important level to hold. But we are at an important we're at an important crossroads right here where you really need to stay above 2.95, I would call it. So we'll keep an eye on that, continue to talk about it, continue to look at it. Bitcoin chilling. $90,140 even, recovering a little bit. John Tujo said, we got some inflation data tomorrow. I don't know, actually. What is tomorrow? Usually Kobe letter will remind us with the scheduling thing. Yeah, we finished our news. Hundreds of RWAs just went live on Solana. Very cool. Yeah, dude, Ando is like really killing it, but nothing's happening. You guys remember the he wants Greenland, Jerry? You guys remember that one from yesterday? They posted this one today. Kramer, what's going on in there? They have a framework, Jerry. That's so good. All right, I'm sorry. I'm not going to fish for it on X. I do think that I had something in here yesterday or the day before from Kobe letter talking about key events this week. So this is all from today. Okay, here's yesterday. There's bar chart. Keep going. Key events this week. Yesterday was Tuesday, so maybe it was a Monday thing. It was a short week, but an eventful week. Yeah, it must have been Monday, so it might have been the 19th. I'm going to continue to scroll through here, though, just in case. Nope. Oh, yeah, Air Force One literally had to turn around last night because there was a freaking... Allegedly, there was like a fire in the cabin or something, and then they said that the power went out for the press section. I don't know, it was weird. It was really weird. People were tweaking. They thought there was like some medical emergency or something. There was like a motorcade, like, cruising towards the Air Force base or whatever. Like, people were freaking out, speculating. Turned out to be a nothing burger. All right, let's see. We are getting close. Oh yeah, all the copper that I was looking at on eBay is sold out, which kind of blew my mind. I'm not sure what to make of that, to be honest. I wanted to order a trapezoid bar because they look cool, but they all got bought up before I could like convince myself to do it. Okay, yeah, it has to be. Nope, stock market futures. Maybe it was Sunday. All right, this is the last day that I'll check. I'm sorry. I just want to see because I thought for sure we had something. It was Kobayashi letter because they're the only ones that publish that data like that, and then everybody copy pastes it from them. We've got retail, bond market, key events this week. Tomorrow is Thursday. November PCE inflation data, US Q3 2025 GDP data. All right, so I'm gonna remove this and then add it back so that way it's there tomorrow, so that way we got a reminder. So tomorrow's Thursday, we got US Q3 2025 GDP data and November PCE inflation data. Thank you for the reminder, John. Gourmet Brand said no, tomorrow is personal consumption PCE inflation February 11th. So it's PCE inflation. It's different. It is inflation data, but it's not the inflation data that we usually look at. Tom Sellerscoat said I'm buying the living hell out of FCX for copper. I think copper is next to go wild. That's what everyone's saying. That's why I was looking at them at the freaking bars. I'm really butthurt that they're sold out. I wanted a freaking trapezoid, man. You know, cool trapezoid. Like I have a little bar of copper, but it's like flat. It's just a boring flat bar. I want a freaking trapezoid, dude. You think a bar of any precious metal, it's that stupid little trapezoid shape. And I was like, ooh, this is affordable and attractive. And now I can't get any. I'm very upset. Dang, fartless. Such a stupid meme. All right, guys, I'm gonna go watch Harry Potter with the fam. Appreciate you guys for sticking around. As always, when the market starts to do anything crazy, I will hop back on. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. I appreciate you guys for sticking around. Let's close our poll, see what the results were. Bitcoin and crypto actually came out on top. I asked you guys, where does the money go next? 54% of you guys, we got 13 votes. 54 said all in Bitcoin and crypto. 23 said gold and silver, buy the dip. 15% said cash, sideline, stablecoins, and 8% said tech stocks. Anyways, guys, when the market starts to do anything crazy, I'll hop back on. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. I appreciate you guys for sticking around. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Happy Wednesday and good night.